suppose we'll take it from the top. How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast.
Very special one.
Very
It's the
special.
day before.
It's the night before.
Wedding, or the night before.
I'm getting married in about 12 hours.
Thought this would be a good idea just because, like, vibes. Get a bit litty.
Get litty.
Chat some shit. So, how you feeling?
You nervous?
Everybody keeps asking me how I'm feeling, and I honestly don't even think it's sunk in yet. Like, I'm literally getting married in 12 hours.
I sunk in yesterday at the rehearsal.
It's sunk in for you.
I was like, fuck, this is...
Tommy was crying all at rehearsal yesterday.
was
Were
so
you?
nervous.
Like, she looks
Just-
so beautiful.
Just to see his wee mate being
I wish it was
married
me.
off.
So what actually happens at the rehearsal? I've never been to one. I've always heard about it.
So basically,
It's just like a run through,
you
like.
literally just run, like the priest and the minister runs through, like,
She's
the
no
whole-
priest, hey. Your
We're
ma
on
wasn't happy. Let's get real.
The,
They made us stand outside because we weren't part of the religion.
I was
Me
like,
and Tommy were.
Ross, like, where's the priest? And he was like, it's the minister.
yeah.
Get it right, bro.
And I was
Get
like,
it right,
soz,
hey.
bro. And I was like, which one is he? And he was like, it's a she. And
Cool.
Ross's ma was like, can't fucking believe this.
We're very progressive up here in
And I was
Ballymena.
like, Rebecca, don't be cursing in church.
Yeah, so basically the
Look like
minister
he's shaking. Hey, you're so nervous.
the minister just basically runs through everything. So like she said, like the bridal party and all practice walking up the aisle.
You practice standing there.
I practice literally. We just have to stand there and look pretty, man.
And we're fucking in the chapel or the church. And Ross was like, oh yeah, by the way, you're holding the rings. And I was like, oh.
The best man was shocked that he
The
had to do something
pressure.
on the
Yeah, to
day.
be fair, that's not really overly shocking.
I didn't really know that was happening. So
I
like,
was freaked out by the big platform thing.
oh no, we went
It's
in.
like a spiral staircase.
There's this big like staircase
Never
up to this
seen
like
something like
really
that before.
high podium, and me and Shay first thing we're like, what?
For
is
the
that?
Protestant people listening to the podcast, it's also called a pulpit.
Oh, the pulpit, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what's in this church?
Them
They
two,
were
like,
them
this
two,
is a diving board or
Yeah,
what?
like, is Fred again performing at your wedding?
them two walked in and was like, "Is this where people like dive off to get like baptized or something?" And I was like, "No, this is the pulpit." Like, to be
Jesus,
fair,
Is that not a thing in a
most
chapel?
most
No.
churches
Never seen one before.
most churches have pulpits now, but like there's very few churches that I know that the minister actually goes up into the pulpit now. Most ministers stand at the bottom
So yeah, well, the church I grew up in got rid of its pulpit when I was younger.
because it's
Like,
just really
a
weird.
stage now.
It's dodgy,
yeah.
like it's high up, like.
It's intriguing.
Risky, like.
You want to just go up them stairs, like
Yeah.
stairway to heaven.
Yeah.
How do you like
Wow,
as a child not want to fucking just run up that, like?
Oh, you did,
he did.
and you
I feel
did.
I feel like if we'd have been walking up them stairs yesterday, we would have got thrown out.
Fair.
I think if there was
The
a moment where
minister
there was
was
no one in
very
it, we would have chanced it, like.
Stern.
Oh really?
Was she?
Was she?
I don't get that
I
vibe.
thought
was
she was
joking
easy going,
around.
like.
They were like, "Give me the rings." Like we're walking through it, and I was like, "They're all like, ah, catch." And then she just turned to me and she's like, "Give me the ring." And I was like, "So
Oh.
there you go."
You would have thought a woman minister,
was
very
like-
progressive.
This was
Mm.
like
I thought there would be a bit more crack.
the rings weren't real. We're just having a joke.
Yeah, the rings weren't in state of play, so it was like fake rings. So there was nothing
Oh,
there.
so you get fake.
No.
Oh,
Like,
we
it was
didn't
just
even have a
not-
ring.
She was
So he was like,
I was
Oh, you
like,
get a pillow.
I was sort of joking to her. I was like, "Oh, catch," and like joking around,
and then
she
I went
was-
like,
she was like, "Give me the ring," and I was like, "Sorry,
And you faked give her a ring.
sorry, miss."
but like for anybody getting married, there's so much to like think about because the woman can't wear the engagement ring on the morning of the wedding because the wedding band goes on before the engagement ring. So the wedding band goes on first, then the engagement ring. So Lucinda took her engagement ring off, and Lucinda was like, "I'm going to wear this on my right hand, so then I can just swap it over." But then she tried to put it on her right finger, it didn't fit. So now I have the engagement ring, so and I'm going to give it to her after the ceremony. But it's like just little things that like
she odd size hands.
it must have, yeah, it must have freaky fingers.
Oh.
But like,
bear that in mind for future ring endeavors.
yeah, but like it's weird, like because no one like it's you obviously when you embark on like getting married, there's obviously like certain things you do. You book your photographer, but like there's other things as well, like flowers and how's the church going to be arranged. And on the grand scheme of things, it's funny because when you're planning the wedding, you think all this stuff's so important, but like it's now what, T minus 12 hours till I get married, and like honestly, I was standing in the church about 2 hours ago, and I was like, I literally at this point don't care less. Like I'm like, the flowers are in, it looks the way it does. Like it's not the most important thing in the world at this present moment in
I hope
time.
your wife doesn't listen to this podcast.
No.
Very chill when we're not
As
anymore.
in like, I'm more meaning as in like, obviously the church looks lovely, but like I think people get really caught up in like how like making it. I've had this discussion with you. The point more trying to make is people get very caught up in making sure it's like a really good day for everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the church needs to look nice, or else people will think so like it's bad. I'm like, it's not the point.
The order of service has to be
Yeah,
spelled
the order of
correctly, or
service.
everyone
Yeah,
will
like
be-
all that there stuff. Like you pure freak out about it, but as you're like like you're literally the day before you get married. You're like, the only thing that matters at this present moment in time is that both of you are there on the day. Like.
We didn't know what the order of service was
Oh,
either.
no.
Yeah.
It's just like not looking at us like yous are gonna hand out the order of service, and we were like,
Or
"Excuse
am I?
me?"
I was like, Tommy, you've enough. We'll do this, even though I didn't know what the fuck it was. What it was.
Even up in your plate, eh?
And then realised it was a fucking booklet at the door.
Yeah, that's all it
She
is.
kept saying acts of service.
Acts of
And I
service.
was
Something
like,
like this.
Excuse me?
All you have to
Give
do
out
is
hand jobs
What
at the
is
door.
this?
Like.
all you have to do is literally hand out a piece of paper to everyone who comes in that says this is the order of the service. Hence why it's called
Order of
Service.
Yes.
I would have just called it a booklet.
Do we have to sing and all?
But it's not even a booklet, it's a page. It's very
Yeah,
short.
she said at one point we have to like we'll do the song.
hymns, like,
Yeah,
if we don't
there's
sing,
We don't know
it's
the
so
words.
bad.
I don't sing.
Well, I mean, the
Do
words
we-
will be printed out.
do
But
we
if you
have
don't
to-
sing, no one will be like, why are these dudes not singing?
She
I'm
gonna
gonna
stop
sing
and
the
be like,
lyrics.
used to there. Fucking pipe up.
So I obviously we're getting married in that church, and because we're getting married in the church, we've obviously been going to the church a couple of like Sundays in the month just to kind of give support and all this here because they're obviously marrying us. And the first meeting we had with the minister, she was like, and obviously I don't go to that church, and she was like, and Ross like, what's your background and all? And I was like, I have a background, all this here, kind of went into it, and she was like, well, it's lovely to have you here. I do feel sometimes you could put a bit more effort into trying to sing. So she must have been watching me
Been
and
watching
realised
you,
I
eh?
don't
That's mad.
sing. Like.
That's mad.
She
But
not
it's
like,
because it's such a small, like it is how small
It's
is
very
church.
small.
It's a very small
it's
church.
not what I expected, to be honest.
Really.
It's a very small
It's
church.
just like it's a lot different to like what we are
Yeah.
used to. Like.
Yous are very, even your small churches, I would consider quite grand.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
very, yous are all like you're into your statues and your, whereas like we would be more into our like stained glass windows. Whereas yous are very much into your statues and like the church looks like a Catholic church looks so beautiful.
But that's what we were saying. Even on the way home, we were like Greenmore Chapel is like a small chapel,
Yeah.
but it's still like pretty big.
Yeah.
But then like we didn't realise how many like subsections of like religions there was up here. Like compared to us, like it's like
Jesus.
one person goes to everyone goes to
Yeah.
one chapel. Like.
Tommy and Shay went round to my house last night, and my ma basically gave them a rundown of
No
all
idea.
all
I
the
went
different
through the
churches
fucking
within the
alphabet
Protestant religion.
of Protestant religion.
She was
And
like,
they're
you've
got a
Elim.
fun
I don't
fact.
know what this means.
Got a fun fact. Ballymena. Guess how many? So this isn't how many churches are in Ballymena. This is.
Oh,
Do you want to turn your phone off?
your mom.
Yes,
Yeah,
your
okay.
mum.
I'll be back.
Oh, we have to answer
Oh,
that.
Answer live. Answer live.
Go.
Well,
Put her on.
he doesn't need to know this. He, as a good
Mummy.
Protestant, Ross already knows this. So this isn't how many churches are in Ballymena.
Yeah.
Right? This is how many different types of so Catholic, Presbyterian, Elim, Baptist, Methodist. So guess how many different types of churches are in Ballymena? Just Ballymena.
I have no idea. like.
16.
80.
What?
Holy shit.
Is there even 80 people in
8
Ballymena?
0.
Who
Yeah.
pays for
The churches, I assume.
that? Who builds
What do you
these
mean who
things?
pays for
I
it?
was thinking, like, who
But
pays?
is there really that
Where
much
do you
difference
put
in them?
80
Like?
churches?
Most of them are like community centres and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing, like I was saying to Ross, like after, he's like I wouldn't even have noticed that was a church. Like it's
Yeah.
like sort of just like on a street.
Yeah, like my church doesn't look like a church. The
Yeah.
church I was brought up, I don't go to it anymore, but the church I was brought up in doesn't look like a church. It looks like a, I don't even know what it look like. To me, it looks like a church, but I
Yeah.
think it doesn't typically, like it's something like 30 years old
Yeah.
and it's just a building, you know, and it's quite modern inside and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them about.
This podcast has got very religious all of a
It
sudden.
has.
We should bitch about Ross when he's not here.
He's so panicking.
He's so not
So
getting
he's
on.
seen him
he's
earlier, eh?
definitely. Oh really?
Oh fuck.
Yeah, he's
My
acting
God.
so chill.
I was about to say he's acting
Yeah.
He's
far
trying.
too chill
He's
right
trying too hard to be
What
chill.
was he
now,
like
like-
at the Lamore? Like we got to
He parked in a disabled space and all, like, and I was like, "God, you can't park here." And he's like, "I'm not listening to you."
With
Like,
him, hey.
no,
We were
messing,
like, we went to Lucinda's, lifted the cake. Like there's like 2 cakes, lifted that cake. Drove to the Lemore, and me and Shay were like, "Oh, we'll go in for a pint, like." And Ross was like, "No." And we were like, "Oh, we need,
No
we were like, oh, we
entertainment,
need to
like.
make sure the drink's good though. Like, we need to make sure they can do a good pint of Guinness." And he's like, "No." He's like,
No.
"I've shit to do."
We have this podcast to record.
that was like the last thing we
That's
had
so
to do.
funny.
Like I was, he was
He's
just
so chill here, and he's like, "Oh, no worries," but
all's good now. Like,
he's stressed.
He's Ross. You're being overly chill.
You're killing the vibes. That
I feel like you're.
do you think you're gonna cry tomorrow?
What was I killing the vibes on? Sorry, Mum was.
You're saying you're stressed.
Mum rang me there. They're like going through the suits at our house. I was like, "Does Thomas have a bill?" I was like, "Yeah." "Where?" And I was like, "You don't need to know where. It's just here."
Well, thank God we didn't leave her knickers there, because she'd be at
Fucking
empty.
hell, she was having a good failure.
What were you talking about? Me being chill about?
You're not.
You're not being chill.
at the Lemore.
Like you're being so
You're
chill.
being
it's not
chill now.
I'm
but
being
you
chill
weren't
now,
chill.
and yeah, I'm being chill now because everything's done.
We'll see.
We bit of unchill just came out there.
Everything's done.
What stage tomorrow are the emotions gonna hit, and you're gonna break down? Like?
I don't think I'm gonna. I wouldn't necessarily. I'm gonna break
When
down.
you look behind,
You
Do
have
you
to
think
shed a
Do you
tear.
think
Like,
you're gonna cry?
whenever you see
don't
her for
know,
the
I'll
first
let
time,
you
do you
know
not think you'll
tomorrow.
cry?
like first time in the dress, makeup.
You not be like,
hair, all
"I
that.
am fucked." Like, this is it.
Where were
That's
you?
not where I was going with it.
I probably will. I'll probably get. I'll probably. I suppose there is an element of it where you will get.
You did get emotional at Neil's wedding,
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
so you'll get.
Yeah.
I also
Like during the day,
got
like?
emotional at Neil's wedding.
Was this prior to having
I'm
alcohol?
not-
No, it was while they were proper getting married.
See,
I'm-
to be honest, like when the two of them were standing there yesterday at the rehearsal, I was a bit like, "Fuck!" Like I was a bit talking back.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
I am not emotional when it comes to actual like emotional things. Like I'm pretty weird when it comes to like death. I'm not really emotional when it comes to like people dying or funerals, but I am emotional whenever there's like happy things happening. Like Neil getting married, obviously, like
Yeah.
Neil's one of my best mates, and like to see him getting married is
Yeah.
quite like I kind of feel like, oh, I'm so happy for him. But at the same time, I don't know how I'll act tomorrow. I honestly don't know. With regards to like, to be honest, today has been a whirlwind of just like you woke up, got a haircut, like, and then you have to drop everything round. I had to drop everything round to the Laymore where our reception's at, and obviously getting all that stuff out of the house because like you've been round at the house and you've been round at the house, like the stuff was just kind of everywhere. And you're it's like a constant reminder if this thing's coming, are you prepared or not? So to get it out of the house was a real blessing.
Yeah.
But then it's the little things that you forget. And then obviously with used to arriving, like used to aren't like really like a big, hassle to me. But at the same time, it's also like, oh shit, I have to drop round this cake and make sure everything's like organized. So then I can finally relax.
Yeah.
So like I'm sitting here right now, like compared to what I was like last night,
Yeah.
I'm chill. Like tomorrow will be what it'll be, and I like that. It's really hard to instill that whenever you like that last night, the rehearsal.
Yeah.
That's my worst nightmare.
Why?
Being in a place where you're running through everything, and then people are like, "Oh, would you not do this? Would you not do this?" Whereas like from working with me,
Yep.
I like to have it all in my own head and sort it. Like I don't need people's changing the goalposts on me.
See, I agree with you. I think this, like, you described the rehearsal thing to me, and I'm just sitting there going, why?
Like it's the same, like my dad saying last night, like, "Why are you signing that in the church?"
Oh,
And I'm
God.
like, "Why
Your
does it?"
ones are going in.
I was
Like
like-
his ones are going in on
Yeah.
them. Like.
Right?
And I was like, "There's not much we can do now." Like
He was like
I
I
could
find
just tell Ross was like, "We're going."
yeah. I was like, "We're away," because whenever people start to question me on stuff, is whenever I start to get annoyed because I'm like, "It's sorted." And
It's
then
also
like
the-
little things as well.
Yeah.
Like we obviously have my three nieces. Lucinda's three nieces, but they're my three nieces as well.
So your three nieces now, hey?
And then
Yo,
my
well,
yeah.
like my wee nephew is
He
walking.
called Lucinda's dad tonight.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Wise up. And then our three nieces and nephew are walking down the aisle in front of Lucinda,
Yeah.
and like I cannot count the amount of people who've been like, "It's risky involving kids," and I'm like, "Shut up!" Honestly, like if a kid acts the dick at the front, because they're 3 years of age. It's because they're 3 years of age. And if you're standing there going, what a badly behaved child, take your order service and...
It is nice. So, like,
Kids can make a wedding too. Like.
Yeah.
I remember my one. Some child was there and he ran like up the altar. Like.
yeah.
My one's wedding. It's
But
funny.
even,
Like,
yeah.
like obviously no one's
Yeah.
gonna make.
Like,
Oh,
even-
that's
I
so.
think
People
who
take it
cares? Like,
so...
who
People...
actually
funny,
cares?
But like
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
People take it so seriously as like this day has to go perfectly.
Yeah.
Something like I guarantee you tomorrow, something will happen, and like it just at that point, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's exactly like I refer back to the point I made earlier on about the flowers and stuff. Like me and Lucinda could decorate that church tonight from top to toe in flowers.
Yeah.
It does not make a difference.
No.
You know, it doesn't. But I'm quite chill now. Like everything's done, man. It's done. That's the home run.
What's it been like with the like family politics dealing with that? No?
Fine. It's not been too bad because my
Like,
ones.
obviously yesterday with your ones, it was very much like this is how we thought it would be,
Yeah.
and this is what like. Is it more? Like it's such a weird situation because like with us,
Yeah, you're
like the
Catholic
likes
or
of
you're
us
not.
being
Like.
Catholic, getting married, it's like the only real like thing is you get married similar to what you're doing, and like your wife's or fiance's chapel or church, like.
Yeah.
Whereas like yesterday at your house, like after your ones were like, well, this is how we would do as the service, and this is how it would go. Like, is it been a bit weird? Or is
No.
it just sort of like this?
I
is the way
think
it is,
there's
like?
people. There's people who would take that and be like they're criticizing, but I know my family, and you know, like you've been around my family to know what they're like
Yeah.
for a long time, and like I just know they're not critiquing, they're just
No,
more
yeah,
like
no. I don't mean it in a
"Oh,"
bad way. I just
like-
mean more like it's just weird. Like it's just weird that like what I'm trying to say is for us, it's very like this is the way it is. You just get married in
Yeah.
whatever church.
The whole church,
Our
everyone
chapel.
having different church things weird for us. Like,
Yeah.
you know, everyone's
Whereas like
just-
yous have like fucking like thousands of different
Yeah.
versions of your own religion. Like.
So the church we're getting married in is just really like family orientated. That's the whole thing about them. Since I've walked into the church as someone who's not really like involved in the church and hasn't been in a while and not really interested as well, my first experience of walking into that church, despite all the, like the connotations with the Christian church, it has a lot of connotations. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the right word. I think it is.
What, is
Um,
it a Christian or a Protestant church?
It's a Protestant church. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. It's
It's
a
actually
It's not like
it's actually pre-Protestant.
Catholics or Christians.
No, well, Christianity is like the
Yeah.
umbrella, and then within Christianity, there's Catholicism,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
Protestantism, there's
Protestant.
This has
um,
got so fucking religious.
so religious.
you know.
Yeah, like I don't know. I wouldn't. People will do things different ways. Like I know there'll be people sitting in the church tomorrow, and something will happen, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's a bit weird." But like, it's also when you strip it back. I mean, like you heard her say yesterday, that's the religious bit over. Now we
Yeah.
need to get on to the legal bit.
Yeah.
If you ignored that first half an hour,
Yeah.
which was the religious bit,
Yeah.
and me and Lucinda walked into that church or walked into McDonald's and signed that document, as long as we had witnesses or whatever it was, like legally, we'd be grand. We could walk out of there.
Yeah.
We'd be fine.
But that's not. Is that actually the legal document, or do you not just sign it like the next day?
No, that's the legal document. We sign all that, and then Tommy's my witness, and Catherine's Lucinda's witness, and then,
And then you submit that.
I have to bring it back to the birth, deaths, and marriages office on Thursday.
All right.
Just
Right.
not-
The only time you would ever do like a fake one is if so in the UK and over here, you have to be like a registered marriage place to actually legally get married in. So you actually couldn't get married in McDonald's legally. You could do the whole ceremony on it and have a fake signing thing, but then
Yeah.
the next day you would have to go to the county hall or whatever and do your thing then. So
Yeah.
that's the only time you would ever have to do that.
Right.
Move on, will we? From
Yeah.
religion. Speeches.
Say no to religion. Speeches. How you feeling, big man?
Sweating.
It's gonna bring
Do you,
this up.
do you have yours on your phone, or do
My
you
phone,
printing
yeah.
yours off?
My phone.
I might print mine off tomorrow when I'm at mum and dad's, just to be safe.
No, I don't. Phone. No.
I'm singing a song.
So,
Ave Maria.
I
I'm
had it-
rapping. I'm rapping.
Feeling left out, are you?
50 Cent. I'm doing 50 Cent now.
Shay, you can make a speech if you want, big man.
I might do it. Yeah, I might
Had my
surprise
speech.
you, like.
Had my speech done.
Tommy's the best
Was
man.
like, this is
so-
funny. I think this is good. And I was in work last week. And one's in work. I was like, oh, just chatting about being off next week. I was like, oh yeah, I'm off wedding. And they're like, oh, you in the wedding party? I was like, yeah, I'm best man. They're like, oh, what's the speech like? I was like, speech is done, like, confident. They're like, oh, give us a
In
bit.
the bag.
Give them the first 3 lines. And they were like, fuck, you can't say that, hey. And I
Jesus.
was like,
that was my response.
I thought
to
that was
Sash.
pretty funny. And they were like,
Because if randomers
nah.
are saying that.
Yeah. And like one of the guys, like I get lifts up the me and him like car share, and like he's like a quite like me and him would have a similar sense of humor, like. So I was like, if you're saying, because I was sort of like, you're having me on, and they're like, no, you can't be saying that. So gonna go through it.
You can say it
Basically,
now.
like one bit of this has been put back in the speech.
Because I thought it was
'Cause
hilarious.
It was funny. I think
So you
it's
know what
funny.
he's saying.
Hey, he
So
told me the other
It
night. I thought it was
started-
hilarious.
I told him because I'd changed my speech, and I was like, this is what was in it. Is this
Put it this way, and I hope this is right. If that's the worst, if you think that's the worst bit,
yeah.
we're completely fine.
I think the speech is pretty good now, but like,
Like he said to me the other night, we were playing PlayStation,
Yeah.
and he was like, "I'll run you through it."
Self praise, no praise.
He ran me through it. I was
someone
pissing
has-
myself.
so basically, right. So I was starting off. I was like, just podcast exclusive. I was like,
Subscribe to the Patreon.
It is going out the day after the wedding.
so basically, it was gonna go like this. I was gonna be like, I'm trying to think of it now. Fuck. It was basically like, so introduce myself.
Hope
Obviously,
this speech goes better than this tomorrow.
I'm all flustered now. I was like, introduce myself, and then I'm like, oh, everyone make some noise for the beautiful Mrs. Evans. Pause.
Everybody
Pause
goes
for
mad.
everybody.
Everybody makes some noise.
Everyone goes.
This is the
Nice.
part where actually this is a
Yeah.
podcast exclusive. If he says anything and demands a response, you need to be the hype man in the crowd to go,
Don't let me
yeah.
know. If it's not funny, just laugh.
I would
Just
I
be
would-
like,
well,
"Holy
I
fuck."
think me, Neil, and Lauren will do
Yeah,
a really
these
good
are gonna
job.
be
I'll
the
buy
applause
you
button,
as a
yeah.
drink. Like.
Yeah.
So basically, pause.
I would have done it for free. That's fine.
I'll pause, and then I'll be like, and by Mrs. Evans, of course, I was talking about Rebecca.
Oh, whoa!
Clearly not that.
Do you think that's too far?
No.
I think that's funny.
But then it goes
It
on.
is good, like.
That's
I don't
hilarious.
think your ma will mind
That
at
first
all.
No, my
line-
mom pissed herself.
Exclusive.
loved that.
This is going out after the wedding, so but like that line is in the speech.
Okay.
Nice.
So your reaction needs to be better tomorrow.
Okay. Sorry.
So
What would you rather it be?
it's like fuck somebody
Just a knee topper, like.
get a hose because
Yeah.
this guy is on fire. And then
Kill
it
him,
goes,
Dad.
and then I'm like,
Just call and get us on the stage.
You run for the fire extinguisher and start fucking
Imagine,
spraying that motherfucker.
imagine Tommy just busts into crowd work. Who are you guys? And they're like, how long have you been together for?
And it's like,
You riding yet?
I'm her man, Dad.
don't be giving me ideas. And then I go, speaking of Rebecca, she's asked me to keep the speech pretty PG. What the fuck are you doing?
Just checking everything's recorded.
I'm
Continue.
going through my speech here, and you're just.
Are you going to do
Right,
this
check-
tomorrow whenever
check
he's doing his
everything.
This
speech?
isn't good enough.
I'm actually videoing the web.
No, he is not.
Right, I'm just checking. Sorry, lads. Continue.
Right, so then I go, speaking of Rebecca, she's asked me to keep this speech pretty PG. So like Ross and the Sun in the bedroom tonight, I'll keep this short and sweet.
Oh, it's good.
That's
Yee.
funny. That's not too bad.
I'll talk that out.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey.
This is one of the ones I said in work, and they were like, "You can't be saying that."
the sex stuff is pretty on the
And
line. like.
there's so
I
many
think that's
times
funny.
me and
He's
Ross-
allowed to now. He's
Here.
getting
I
married.
know, but there's so
It's
many
sex
times.
after marriage you're
But
talking
then
about there, like it's
I was
not
gonna
before.
nudge him and be like, "Oh, this is first time after all."
Oh, don't do that.
No.
No, don't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that.
No, please don't.
You can't do
Nah,
that.
don't
But
burn,
like,
don't
and
burn
then
a man
they
like
were- They were
that.
like, "You
No.
can't be saying that with his ma sitting there, like her ma sitting, her dad sitting there, like you're talking about having sex with his daughter, and her dad sitting there." And I was like, "Jesus, right, okay." And
It's
then,
quite literally half the point of a Christian marriage.
And then
So
the next line was
Missionary.
the next line was so obviously making a speech in front of a bunch of people I don't know. I'm glad I prepared a couple of lines, and after snorting them earlier, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I thought that was good, like,
that's
but
actually
they were
fucking
like,
funny.
"You can't be saying that."
That's
hey.
actually funny. Is that in the speech still, or is that?
That's out.
That's
To be
that's risky.
to
Very
be
Christian.
fair, it's very risque for it's risky, but I think the majority of the room would be like, "That's good." I think though you would lose half the room who'd be like, "This guy is a proper druggie."
Before
Like, you know how Protestants can, you know how Presbyterians
I do know how
especially,
Presbyterians
like they'll be
can,
like, "Oh, this guy's a druggie." I'm saying,
Yeah.
Ross is friendly with a drug dealer.
so like
a
before,
Catholic drug dealer in Ballymena.
That's doubly worse.
Where's he in Paisley?
beforehand, I was like a bit nervous about the speech because Ross maybe said 20 times, "Just don't be mentioning like sex before marriage," and I was like,
Don't joke
I don't
around.
actually have anything really. Maybe something about sex, and at the time I was like thinking, can I say that? Can I not say that?
Is this the speech?
What?
Is this part of the speech?
No, this is like what. This is like
This is
just
context.
we're having a
Right,
conversation
yeah.
here. Get with it. But yeah, I think the speech is actually better now because it's more sort of like story led.
Oh,
That's nice. I like
Start
that.
I hope it goes
Beginning,
well.
middle, end.
But I was I was reading the speech to Brona on the way home from work today, and I was like, so I finished the speech, like finished it off like last night, because we were finishing the end bit I hadn't done, and she was just like, "Yeah, that's really good," and I was like, "You don't sound very enthusiastic," and she's like, "Well, I've just heard it so many times now," and I was like, "You're not really filling me full of confidence here," so
Did you say it to Shay on the way up?
I didn't. I know he doesn't. He hasn't heard the full thing.
I think that's good though.
don't
I think
you-
it'll be good,
I think
mate.
you know.
I heard bits and
you
pieces
probably
of it,
know
like-
like the first half, maybe.
That's good.
Yeah.
I hope it goes down well.
I think it will.
Yeah, I think well.
I think
if
it
it
will.
doesn't, I'll be at the back.
It'll go down like Ross on Lucinda on his wedding.
Yo!
I could easily edit all this together and play it at the wedding.
Get me up there. Get me up there. The fuck. I fucking.
I was actually
Is anyone nervous about me making a speech? No? Honestly,
Nah, man, you're gonna.
I'm not nervous.
I just mean like, has anyone said to you, "Fuck that dirty Catholic boy"? What's he gonna say?
No one says that.
You
My
might convert
I was actually
half the
gonna put a
audience.
bit in it. Where
my
I was
family actually really love the two of you. Like.
Like, oh,
No.
They do.
your mom was
My
getting
ma
a bit
wa-
handsy
my
last
ma-
night. Hey,
My ma has this
Shay's
weird.
ma was feeling us up. We were
Explain,
fucking
Rebecca.
took advantage of last night.
Don't be saying that. Like, flip me.
She was.
Ormsby actually landed at my ma's
I'm
door.
only joking, but I'm not really. She was
Help me.
squeezing Shay's ass. Like,
She didn't squeeze your ass. She
Why?
did she
slapped
not
it.
grab your ass?
Why was she grabbing
Shit,
your
she
ass?
goes. I'm glad you got them tight trousers because it's definitely worth it.
She didn't, for context,
She
for
did.
anybody listening. So basically, we went and got the suits fitted, and we obviously all the suits look well, all men look great. Shay being Shay, nothing wrong with it, but Shay was like, "I think we could go tighter in the
Just
trousers,"
Throw a wee spanner in the works.
because
I was down everywhere else.
Shay was like, "I think we could go a wee bit tighter in the trousers because you wear spray on jeans.
Yeah.
Your trousers are quite tight.
Yeah.
Quite
You know what I mean?
Quite tight.
They are tight."
They're fucking skin tight.
So,
What I'm used to.
went down a size in the trousers, and then my ma's always commented whenever she's seen
Reload.
Shay, she always goes, "Oh, his trousers are wild skinny," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's just what he likes." So then when the suits and all came over,
She's like, "I'll tell him what he likes."
when the suits and all came out, my ma goes, "I hope Shay's trousers aren't too tight," and I went, "No, they're not really." That'll be picking up that, mate. I went, "No, they're not really," and
Unboxing.
that was grand, and
Lost me at unboxing. Exclusive.
I went, "No, they're not too bad. You'd be grand." And then Shay rocked up into my kitchen the other night with the trousers on, and my ma just just gravitated towards you. Like.
Her
Her
eyes
eyes
lit
just-
up. Hey,
She
fuck
like
me.
she like
I
lifted
was
the
like,
You're
back.
not-
I was like, Rebecca, eyes up here.
Is that had to get the mop out to fucking mop the floor? Just fucking drooling that much.
We're not playing that at the wedding. I really hope that's not in the speech.
She goes,
It is now.
she goes, "Oh, Shay, them trousers are wild tight." And then she went round, and to be fair, the back of the suit was sewed up, like the flat bit.
Yeah,
It was all sewed.
Yeah.
So she was trying to like take it, like unhook it.
Yeah, yeah.
But she unhooked it. She lifted the back off it, like basically presented Shay's ass to me, and then she went, "Oh, that's some arse boy," and slapped it. And I was like, "What are you doing?" Meanwhile,
Here,
Shay
but
was
no,
loving life.
no sex before marriage.
Yeah, but slapping.
But
ass.
Rebecca can fiddle Shay up all she
She's
wants.
right.
You were loving
She's
it.
right.
Right
wants.
now, hey.
You were loving it, Shay.
I know.
I'm glad the two of us were there because fuck me.
Aye. Shit, man.
We were joking
Three of
around.
them would have been down in the bed.
We were
with me.
we were joking
What does
around.
RJ think?
he had the camera at the ready.
Oh,
We'll be
weird.
taking
That's weird.
checking the PSI.
Let's not do this. But
I hope your bra doesn't listen to this.
But we were joking around last night that Shay was my new dad.
Why?
Just because everything that unfolded last night, it was a weird night.
Rebecca kept calling him daddy.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Daddy.
Stop,
Fuck.
mate.
Stepdaddy Shay.
It's- Oh my god. Ross can Shay can Ross go out to play?
She was very keen to get him a drink as well.
Listen you up a bit.
You're some guy, Shay.
But yeah, God knows how it'll go tomorrow. Hey,
Yeah, hope the speech goes well.
Huh?
Nervous.
why?
If everything else can go
She's
wrong,
not that
fine.
bad.
You're just like, if
Speech.
it doesn't, if people don't laugh, you're like, fuck.
Oh, you said your. I thought you
I'll
said I
laugh.
hope this priest does
What do
well.
you think of the speech? You've heard a good bit of it, like.
No, I think it's grand. It's gonna
He's
hit well.
overthinking everything.
You are overthinking
Yeah.
it. Nobody's going to be like, that was shit.
Because you're
Unless
like, I think it's good, but
Yeah.
you're like, is it good?
yeah.
See, I think that's the same. about
My
my-
fear
There's
is
only
that
one
nobody
speech.
laughs in
No,
the
but
first couple of lines, and
there's-
then you're like, this
there's
is
only
going to
one
shit.
part-
I think
There's only one part of a best man speech that I've ever heard that I've went, wouldn't have fucking put that in. And you know
Yeah.
exactly what.
What does it
I'm
go?
talking about.
Go. You have to tell us.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how to
you
Tell
don't
us-
give any
you have to
context,
tell
just
us
say it.
Without
Okay.
giving it away, I don't know how to just like.
pretty much. Is this the best man talking about his own?
Yeah, he was like talking about how beautiful
the
his own
best
girlfriend and all
man.
was.
We were at this wedding, and the best man just kind of
That's about random.
started talking about like the bridesmaids and the bride, and which is obviously quite stereotypical.
Yep.
Then he just went into this mad spiel about his own woman,
He was like, but of course nobody's as beautiful as my
Oh.
fiance, and all
and like
this.
went in.
And it was as if it's like
proper-
he couldn't have said that the bride of the day was beautiful without
Yeah.
saying that his girlfriend was beautiful.
It was
Just
weird.
he went home
It
and she
was
would've beat the
just.
shit
It
out
was
of him.
very. It
Yeah.
felt very forced to
It was
me.
weird.
It felt very like she was in the audience going,
And
"Say I'm beautiful too."
yeah, and he also paused for like it's like so he would say that
moment
the
of
bride was
silence for my
beautiful,
girlfriend.
and
Yeah.
everyone would have clapped. And then he said, "But of course, nobody's as beautiful as my girlfriend."
Yeah, he
and
said-
he paused,
yeah, it was
just-
and nobody,
What, like for like a
not
round of
single-
applause,
I think
like?
one person went, and then that was it, and then nobody.
Oh god.
Jeez.
Everyone
Jesus
pretty
Christ.
much like. I think you could hear people murmuring to each other because it was such an awkward.
I think
thing.
that's the moment where I looked at you and went, "Oh no, he didn't." Oh no, he
We-
didn't.
Oh no!
We had an awkward moment that like Brona's friend got married, and it was a bit of an awkward one where like you're wide on the classic line of like, oh, I was googling about best man speeches, and one of the bits for advice was like picture everyone naked, and he's like, and I have to say, name I can't remember her name, but it was his granny. You're looking pretty well.
Was the bride's granny?
Yeah, and he was like
Zoom
said
granny.
about the granda, you're a lucky man, but like the granny wasn't all there, like,
She's away with the fairies.
and you're a bit like
couple of
this
sandwiches
is
sort of the
It was
picnic.
a bit of an awkward moment, like.
Yeah.
It was like there was laughing,
See-
but it was a bit like,
That's why I think the likes of like I think the whole thing is like a round of applause for Mrs. Evans, and by Mrs. Evans I mean Rebecca. I think that's like good on the line,
Yeah.
and I think like the likes of
Be-
that whole
because
like
it's
Ross
like
tonight,
harder.
like Ross tonight, I'll keep it short and sweet. I think that's like on the line, but it's like on the line in terms of like the clientele, half the clientele that will be there who are quite like
Staunch.
old fashioned.
Yeah.
Put
it
it
is
that
such
way.
a cliche best
You
man.
can't,
Yeah.
you can't please everyone though.
But at the
I
same
know,
time,
it's gonna be-
Because
I,
like I was telling him before, like I obviously said it here. I was like, we were driving up. I think was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday we were driving up to the rehearsal. And I was like, I've cut a bit out of the speech, and she even Shay was like, "Fuck me, like it's not that bad." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but like it's quite a religious like sort of audience. Like, you need to know your audience." Like.
yeah.
Whereas I
Yeah.
feel like now I'm happier because I know this jokes are quite lighthearted. Like it's not.
yeah.
I think it's still funny, but it's not very like. There's nothing really in it that's that.
And
really
at the
scary,
end
like.
of the day, who cares? Like, who's gonna give a shit? Like in terms of if you say something, one or two people get annoyed.
This could be the kickstart of my comedy career.
This could be it.
If it goes well.
I'd love to see you do some crowd work tomorrow. That'd be so fun.
Should
Oh
I?
my god! I
I'll be
just start pointing in the back.
Point to
bum.
Ross, be like, well, what do you do for work?
If you need to plant a couple
What
of
about
people
you?
in the
Yeah.
audience, I'm quite happy to.
Who's this by? What's your name, Aaron?
Here, it's.
Here, you do that
It's
podcast,
James.
don't you?
I would crowd work go.
Yeah.
If I was like, oh, this is Aaron.
I'm like, well,
What do you do for a
You're-
living,
you're the
Aaron?
one-
You're like, how do you know my name?
oh yeah, how do you know my name?
Planted.
You didn't do too well.
Crowd work.
just
Might
don't
not
do
go too
crowd
well
work.
if we do crowd work.
Crowd work. I don't know how people do that one.
Fair play to them.
So what's your name? What job do you do?
Is this your
I
girlfriend?
think the first joke was always making a joke about their appearance. Like
Yeah.
Fuck me.
So,
So
like,
like
you
you
just
Ash
pick-
catch him into the.
you just pick a baldy fella out and be like, "What about you? What happened to your head?" You know.
Ew.
Maybe you should be doing the speech, eh?
I'm just gonna do jokes after.
Imagine how you're just absolutely blowing the lid off it, and Shay just takes the mic off.
It'll
You're
be
like,
like-
"I'm sorry, you had to go through that." It just unfolds this
Have
piece
you
of
ever-
paper, and it's the best like speech you've ever heard in your life.
Bro,
He just shows you up.
For the speeches, are you setting up
Oh.
the sure
talking
mics like
in
the
front of
podcast
people.
setup?
He's fucking giving
Yeah.
me abuse, and he's best man at my wedding. So we'll see how.
I
You're go- yeah.
am fucked. I can't do social or like. I can't speak in front of people.
Well, you're gonna
Oh,
have to.
fuck.
Like, I don't mind this. Like I will if I
I
have
don't
to.
mind this. I've been doing it for fucking 3
I know,
years.
but like you see, whenever I'm standing there,
I don't mind this.
lad, I don't like see my course architecture.
Yeah. Can you not
We-
do presentations or
No.
nothing? Oh, fuck me, lad.
Lad, I missed every single presentation in the year. I just skipped. I just said I was sick every day.
See, I would be confident enough, like speaking
Yeah.
in front of people when it comes to like presentations and work and stuff. Like.
See, as soon as I got up, I'd be like, "This just is what it is."
Yeah.
If it was
Crack
like
on.
3-4 people, like, and I was sort of a taking the piss situation, I'd be like, no bother. But see, whenever you're standing there with loads of people staring at you, like, I just freak out. Like, it happened to me for the first time in like
don't be saying that
in
with
my-
Thomas
in
here.
my-
He's gonna be like
in my
"Oh, no."
English class, right? So we were doing like these fucking.
I'll have to sub Ross in his best man.
You might have to like.
Tag team.
FPL.
We might have to.
She'll
we
be
might
on
have
the
to do a
mic.
joint speech, lad.
She'll be on the mic fucking choking up, and then someone will just come up to the stage with like one of those things in the Premier League, the red number behind it. Like Ross for Shay.
I'll be sitting there like out there. But whenever we
fucking land down on the ground, just like.
we were in like English class one time and fucking we had to like write a story and then read it out in front of the class.
Yeah.
Before this I didn't realise how bad I was, but I started reading
Jesus
it out
Christ.
and I started like choking. I couldn't fuck say no. Like the worst part was that I was actually choking in front of the whole class, and I was like,
Like literally choking.
I couldn't get the fucking words
Fuck
out.
me, you're filming me. for
It
a
never
conference
happened to
here.
me before, but no, I'm gonna fucking smash it. Like I'm gonna be absolutely steaming and do it. Like.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't. Man.
I'm gonna have to
I
get
might have
him
to be.
absolutely wankered before that.
Shay opens his mouth and just starts spewing everywhere. Like.
I'm gonna
Honestly,
be like-
you may
I'm-
have to tag in, Ross.
I'm gonna be like Shay. Hey, get a couple of these down, you. Hey.
See, that's it. I might just try and learn crowd work
If you
before,
wanna,
like
fuck, please.
you know.
If you want to
Do
do
a couple of
if you
nice
want to
elaborates
do
beforehand.
if you want to do a joint speech, you can. Like.
I'll smash.
I'll just leave you to it, Shay. You'll be grand. Like. I'll just be standing
That's
there
me
looking
starting to do crowd
beautiful.
work.
Imagine
Like,
though
Paul-
me getting up and grabbing.
Paul,
the mic.
what's the crack?
You're gonna be worrying the whole time up to it now, and then the next thing I come out and I'm just like, bang. Hello,
I
ladies and
honestly
He
gentlemen.
Yeah.
comes out like, you know, the way the comedians come out and all, just like running up the steps and he's like
Across the stage.
fucking
Yeah.
confetti and all.
Paula, absolute.
Look at fucking Benjamin Button here.
I grab the mic and everybody starts booing me. Get out, you, you black, you
Throwing
Protestant
glasses
boy,
at
you
you
know?
and all.
Yeah.
Back to religion.
Yeah.
I'm actually when it becomes my turn in the distant future. I'm very much dreading for who I would pick for my best man now. I am dreading for whatever his fucking speech is, because I am going to be fucked.
Why?
Because I'll tell him, right? You probably know who my best man would be.
Yeah.
So you?
I would no.
That's
I-
awkward.
I would. It's not. How's that awkward?
Get out, Art.
It's his ma.
Rebecca.
Sorry,
Tag in.
Jay. He's gonna pump up the tires for me.
I feel like we need to give context to you keep referring to my dad and pumping up tires. Everybody's going to be thinking my dad's just some mechanic.
Just runs
But
about with
pretty
a
much.
fucking tire pump.
There was one day I was washing my car and his car was bogging and he kept going to me, "Oh, my car's bogging," and I was like, "Right, we'll get it washed." And Aaron, being Aaron was like, I'll get it washed."
Are you getting
A
ice?
week went by.
Oh,
A week went by. No washy.
good boy.
So then I said to him one night, I goes, "Aaron, I'm out to wash my car here. My dad's helping me out. Come you over, we'll wash your car." So Aaron came up, started washing the car. My dad just immediately turns into this like B-list mechanic.
Super
It's like,
emoji,
just walking around the car, and he's like, "Aaron, your tires look a wee bit flat there, son." And Aaron was like, "Oh yeah, do they and all?" So then Dad was like, "Bring it up to the garage here, and I'll look at the PSI."
We got the industrial pump out and all.
So
Right down to 7
Bro,
decimal points.
so basically, washed Aaron's car top to bottom, cleaned it all out.
I
and
was
all.
inside it hoovering it at this stage.
But Dad went up, brought the wee tire pressure gauge and put it on the tire and all, and just Aaron is standing looking over the top of him, and Dad just looks up at him and go, "Aaron, there's less than 2 bar in this." Or something long something
He
to that effect.
went Aaron, like he was telling me off, like
Yeah,
he was
he-
like,
but-
Aaron, there's 2 bar in this.
He
And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, RJ. It turns out there was a puncture in it, so it's less.
He gave Aaron this like look over the top of his glasses, which I only can describe as what the look he used to give us whenever we really fecked up as a child.
I was
like,
scared, like.
We just
I
looked
was
around at
scared.
Aaron and he goes, "There's less than 2 bar in this, son." And Aaron was like, "Okay," and he goes, "I'll pump it up for you, but you're gonna have to get that checked." I was like,
Turns out
"This
there
is
was a
awkward
puncture
enough."
in it. So got it changed, courtesy of Waveney Tires.
Did he change it?
No, Dad
No,
didn't
no.
change it for him. He's
I
not-
went to a garage and then got a new
Dad
tire.
just
Just
goes,
pull
"Fill in
the
the
tire
camera."
off and start fucking.
Here,
pulling the
RJ,
tire out.
give me a new tire.
Yeah, but yeah, fair play to him.
So anyone needs their tires pumped up, call up.
Yep.
RJ's got the. fucking-
RJ's got the
God,
RJ's
thing
got the
on the
compressed
Raptor.
air, the air to put in that tire. But anyway, what was it you were saying there? Sorry, I feel like I interrupted you.
Oh yeah,
Your
where
best
was it?
man?
Yeah,
Your best
so
man?
like who I would probably have as my best man in my bed. I'm just
boy.
shitting myself of the thought of it. It's not going to be. I'm not going to get married for a wee while now. Look, I'm just shitting myself at the thought of what he will say on his best man.
What's the
speech.
worst he can say though?
I don't know, mate. He's known me for a while, and I could genuinely say, like, you could have said to him, "Don't put anything like this in the speech," and he genuinely wouldn't put it in the speech. Whereas I would tell him, right, not to put it in the speech, and he would then go, "I know bar," and then go home and go, "Oh, sure, it'll be all right," and then do it anyway. I am fucking shitting myself for it.
You should be fine.
Well, we'll see.
I'll just be in the crowd going, "Yep,
You,
get up, you
Aaron's getting
Yeah.
rid.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be the drunkest at the wedding.
Me.
Don't know. Hey,
Out
I'd
of
say,
who?
I'd say
Everyone or
everybody.
us?
I'd
Us
say,
four?
started
I'd
drinking.
say everybody. I'll get well on. Hey,
You getting well on?
But you'll not start getting well on until you're like,
Boom.
you know, till everything's in place.
I would say I'll probably just be riding this sort of weird high, and I would say I'll probably have like 4 pints, and that'll be me.
We'll be slipping you a bit of drink before you get into the chapel. Make sure you stay there, like.
I'm
I
alright.
think you're
Thanks.
gonna have to have like a shot of whiskey or
God,
something.
you have to
Yeah.
like.
I just think you're gonna.
We
be
were actually thinking this
stressing
through
out.
earlier on the way up. We were like, you know, we'll probably have to give him, you know, just to take the nerves off, the edge off, like a wee shot or two. But then we were like, we're going to your house for breakfast in the morning, and your mum has us warned, no fucking drinking.
He's like, there'll be no
It's like the
drinking
Piggy
this
Blinders, where it's
house,
like no fucking fight, no drinking, like.
yeah.
So we'll have
Yeah.
to slip you something in the morning, without you know.
Roofie me.
I don't know who's coming to the party from work,
Mm-hmm.
but I know if whoever does come from work, I know every single one of them would buy you drink all night. Like definitely.
I think people will just arrive to me and go, "Here's a pint," and I'll be like,
See, that's the thing. Like everyone will want to buy you a drink, like.
"I
Yeah,
know."
So you're gonna be.
Well on.
Fuck.
I'd say once you're at that table, that will be the drinks will be fucking flowing.
But like, equally though, I'm not like I don't want to be like so many people say I got absolutely smashed and couldn't remember a thing.
yeah, imagine you talk
Oh,
too
no,
much
but
and you couldn't get it up.
You'll
like that, mate.
remember all the best parts, like once you get the speeches over, well, like you'll remember all that. Like it's just like
Yeah, you're,
after
The party.
yeah, you're not gonna
you'll
get
have
to
your
tell
first
the party.
dance and all. Like you're not gonna be fucking black band, but like,
Aye,
after
yeah.
that you can let loose. Like.
Are you any good at dancing? How do you feel about the first dance thing? Have you practiced it, or are you just gonna wing it?
Have you done
Have
any
you went to
dancing?
dance lessons? or
No, never. I haven't even
Oh,
thought about that.
Fuck!
Never.
Fuck!
What are you gonna do? Like?
We,
What's the moves,
We
like?
actually talk about this
So what's
all
gonna
the
happen?
time.
That's
Me and,
fucked
me
the
and,
whole
Bro, me and Brona's
I'm
like,
joking.
should we not be going to dance lessons soon?
I actually never even thought about that, man.
Nah, you can just like
I'll YouTube it tonight.
just
YouTube it tonight.
How to
spin
dance.
around and stuff.
She's
like.
a pretty good dancer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How do you
Let her-
know? What
let
the
her-
fuck's
Wild
going on here?
assumption.
She is. I've been to a wedding with her
Yeah,
before.
fair play. Yeah, listen.
And she
Let her
came in,
lead
and she
then.
actually
Like-
came in dancing.
It's just good at throwing it back.
Throw. Are we talking about Lucinda? Or are we on to your man now?
First dance.
Oh, Helen, you know yourself.
Mummy.
Serve returned.
Grand. I don't know. Like it's it's a game match point.
I'm
Whatever.
as stiff as a board, whenever it comes to dancing. Like. When it comes to like,
This is a weird segue you're talking
I'm
about.
stiff as a board tonight
Yeah.
when we're talking about his man.
if he's never heard of that saying,
No, I've heard stiff as a
I
board.
can't dance, like.
I just
I
thought
was
can't
thinking
dance.
of your penis.
Like even
I
at
can,
that,
like, say if it's a rap or something, like I can fucking like,
you can throw down. Hey,
I can throw down
what's
and
that
all, like
song you were playing? Your new tune. Like?
Remedy Club.
Yeah, I'll have to get that going.
That'll
like.
be the one.
We'll wrap things up here. We've talked a lot of wedding talk. When you listen to this podcast, Ross will have been married yesterday. Do you want to give any last minute thoughts?
How was it?
Well,
How was getting married?
Looking forward to it.
No,
Can't
no,
wait.
it was great.
You're
It
meant to
was
say
amazing.
Tommy's speech
Best day
was
of your
fucking immaculate.
Tommy's speech was
Tommy
immaculate.
fucking smashed it. His
And
crowd work was
And
amazing.
I
and
think
Shay ended up in the bedroom with my mom.
I think tomorrow will be a smashing day.
We're all
And
excited.
very much looking forward to it. I'm very excited. Now that
So we'll
everything's done.
end it off. Congratulations to the new Mr. and Mrs. Evans.
Woo!
Wrap it up there. This is part 1. We're continuing on.
Yeah.
So look out for next week, where we'll be putting out part 2. We'll be a bit more litty. Things will be a bit more
bit.
loose.
Loosey
So if
goosey.
you
A lot
want
more
to
lit.
listen to a podcast when we're basically half cut,
Or just watch both.
tune
of
in
them at
next week.
once. Watch both of them at once and
If you're listening to this
see how fucking lit we get.
a
during
week
this,
after it came out, put part 2 on, because the
Straight
vibes are
away.
immaculate. Thanks for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that shit, and we'll see you next week.